In the time of Genghis Khan, that is, in the 1200s, there were 3 states in the territory of today's China: the Xia dynasty, known as the Tangut Kingdom, around Kansu, the Jin dynasty in the north, and the Sung dynasty in the south. In 1211, the Mongols gathered 90,000 soldiers to fight the Jin dynasty, and this army destroyed the Chinese army of 300,000 people. However, a complete invasion of China could have taken place with the takeover of Beijing. Apart from this, the torture and humiliation of Genghis Khan's grandfather in Beijing in the past had to be avenged. In the last spring of 1212, Genghis Khan had decided to attack Beijing, but postponed his attack after being wounded by an arrow in a battle. When the war started, the Chinese army aimed to injure the horses by scattering spiked balls, the first mines in history, on the roads that the Mongols would pass. In this way, although many horses were injured, the Mongol army continued to advance. In 1214, Genghis Khan with his 3 armies arrived in front of the Beijing walls, and the siege lasted for about a year. However, while the Mongols were good at attacking, they were not good at siege, so things were not going well. While Genghis Khan was just about to return, the Chinese emperor offered him peace. In addition to giving gold, silver, money, and valuable goods to Genghis Khan, he married his daughter to Genghis Khan. Thus, Genghis Khan appeared to accept peace and returned to Karakum. Since Genghis Khan knew that he could not cross the Chinese wall with horsemen, he included Chinese prisoners in his army and took advantage of them. It was learned from these prisoners how the Chinese catapults were used. In addition, the army was further strengthened by constructing mobile attack towers. Hearing that Genghis Khan would attack again, the emperor left Beijing and went to the city of Kaifeng. Tangible assets and documents belonging to Beijing began to be transported to a safe place with 3,000 camels and 300 cars. Genghis Khan, assuming that Beijing was weak, accelerated the attack and thus arrived in Beijing in March 1215. As a result of the 9-month siege, food shortages arose among the Chinese soldiers, and it is rumored that there were also cannibals among the soldiers. Even today, considering that dog and cat meat is eaten in China, this seems to be possible. The Chinese soldiers responded to the Mongolian soldiers with arrows like rain during the attack. Genghis Khan, on the other hand, brought the Chinese captives forward in the most important phase of the attack, and ensured that the arrows came to the Chinese captives. Later, large stones were thrown onto the walls with catapults, while cracks were made in the walls with stones. The Chinese soldier threw firebombs, which they obtained from different chemicals, on the Mongols. Although Genghis Khan was aware of the difficulty of the situation, he ordered his soldiers to break through the wall and enter, whatever the cost. While doing this, he used Chinese captives in front. When the Chinese prisoners climbed the wall with the stairs, the Chinese soldiers were pouring hot oil on them. Later, the Chinese soldiers, who saw that the prominent ones were Chinese prisoners, that is, their relatives, decided to surrender. Meanwhile, breaches had been made in the walls, and the Mongol army had begun to enter. It is rumored that when the Mongols entered and began to hang their own flags on the walls, the Chinese commanders killed themselves out of embarrassment. Thus began the greatest looting in history. While mountains of bone were formed, on the other hand, the streets had turned into a pool of blood. The Mongolian commander sent everything in the name of the treasury to Genghis Khan, and the city was destroyed. For such information, you can support our channel by subscribing, sharing, and commenting.